We didn't meet last month, so
Yeah.
so yes.
So it's the July minutes?
Mhm.
Okay, so we didn't meet in September. What about August? Didn't we meet in August?
This is on.
These
No,
are
it
the
is
August
August.
minutes.
Okay,
Sorry, so
that's
sorry.
okay.
I
That's what I
didn't
thought.
last month.
If we can correct the agenda then.
Where does it say July?
Do you have the
Very
right
first
one? Because
line.
mine says August the
This is
8th.
August.
And I'm just nodding with you.
Oh, I am, I'm reading the
Yeah,
wrong
you're
one.
reading the
I'm
minutes.
reading the minutes, sorry.
Oh, I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't
I'm
meet
reading
last
the
month, but then I missed a
Okay.
month, so I'm not helping you either, so I
No,
apologize.
it's alright, no, you're good. So, does everybody have a chance to look over them?
Yes.
Any changes, corrections, alterations? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as they're presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All agreed to approve the minutes as they're presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, thank you. Alright, review of the August 2023 financials.
Before we move forward, I would like, we have a private citizen that is shadowing today, and we were going to ask you if you would just introduce yourselves so that she knows who's on the board. So, who we want to start with you?
Well, Greg, you wanna go and start?
City Council, 4th District.
Okay, Tisha Crowe, I am an appointee to this board for, I believe it is Chris Haney. So he is from District 5.
Cruz Castillo, architect, and I've been on the board various times for a long time. Forget who appointed me, honestly, this go around, but I'm here.
Bradley Borquez, probably one of the newer members to the board, and own a business downtown, so if you appointed me, maybe it was Sean.
No, Sean was appointed too.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Anthony Rios, Part 2 Designs, treasurer, also on DOI. This is first year on the board.
Craig Stoker with Meals on Wheels. Has nothing to do with downtown, but I've been a downtown supporter for a very long time. And I guess Gilbert appointed me, I don't know.
I don't remember
I don't know.
Thought you were Thompson.
Thompson may have too.
Mayor Hogan.
You're a mayor. Sean is Denise Swanner. And
Who's yours?
Gosh, I thought it came from the City Council.
It might be Bradley.
we have this at the office. We do not have that on there. Aren't you impressed with that?
We have no idea.
Someone appointed all of it.
I should know it too, though, and I don't. I'm like, that's at the office. Don't have that. All right, well, moving forward, we can look over the financials. So we do have August in here, and we have September's.
Any questions?
I can tell y'all that in September, you will see that we made about $10,085.26. That is from the sponsorships from the downtown address. However, you'll see that we had a loss of $4,000 just because of the expenses.
Is that expected?
Not necessarily. I think the food was a little bit higher than we thought it was, but it was something that was contracted back in December of last year. We had thought that half of it was paid from the notes that we had, and then once we went back and researched our financials and spoke with the barn door, it showed that we had only given them a $500 deposit and not the $5,000 we
Their
had.
price did not change.
Their price did not change. It was our misunderstanding from the transition between.
Miscommunications.
Yeah, and we actually had to cut a second check for them because we literally had it wrong in our. We had to go back and get it to clear that up when they were very generous with us and said, hey, y'all didn't pay us enough. So we went back and researched it, and yes, they were correct, and we just had the misunderstanding that we thought we had paid $5 already when they got booked, and $5,000
Yeah, and we only paid
or $500. So that took
Zeros
a.
are pesky.
I'm sorry.
Zeros are pesky.
Yeah. We were like, what are you talking about? We do not owe you money, but yes, we all went back and researched it on our side and their side, and once we looked at it correctly, we did owe them, and we went back and cut them a check, so.
Okay.
So that is where you'll see that come in from.
Thank you.
Normally, we hope to bring in enough, sponsorships to break at least even. Any other questions on that one? And of course, we're still trying to work with QuickBooks, trying to get that to I'm like, so we went ahead and included the bank statement so you can see where the actual money adds up to what we have, and it's still, we still haven't figured it out. We're still working with them, trying to figure out where we're off a little bit. It has to be with how we're entering it, from what I understand. And I don't even know how we're gonna get that fixed at one point or another, but
Journal entry.
that might be what it takes, is just a journal entry.
From what I understand with QuickBooks, normally if there's an error, it typically goes back to dates, something to do with when it was inputted to when it's reconciled.
In the
Not
heart,
that I'm a QuickBooks aficionado, that's just what I've been told.
we I'm not taking the class myself, but we have Martina taking the class right now online. So she is going through that, so hopefully that, top of talking to the help desk, we can figure this out on our side. She has at this point printed out a notebook about this big. And so she's going through it little by little, but we're trying to learn QuickBooks a little bit better on our side as well, since I have never used it myself either, so I'm not too much of help, but we're still working on that. Hopefully we can have an answer for y'all soon on that. But we have the dollar per dollar where it does show. And that does come out. It's just something in the previous years or months where it had been entered that doesn't quite match. And if anybody has ideas or knows how to use it better than we do, we would gladly take that. Any questions?
I don't know, that'd be a good question to ask.
Do they have, how is their help desk in accessing that on the phone?
It's, you can either do it through chat or you can call them. The only thing that we've noticed is even with the level of payment that we have, you get a different person every time you call. And a lot of the time I hear, well, nonprofit's different. Well, yeah, it's different, but, so I don't know if they're taught different or if how it was entered. So I think QuickBooks for a normal commercial company would be a little bit different than how they teach you to do things on the nonprofit side, and we're still on that whole, well, we're a nonprofit, so somewhere along the line, something was entered a little bit different, and then somebody just kept it going for a while until we caught it, and we just haven't backdated enough.
Craig, have y'all ever used QuickBooks?
That's what that's been the bane
Always.
of my existence.
Oh.
We
Oh,
switched
okay.
from desktop to online, and we've had to hire Whitley Penn to sort it all out. Ours was such a mess, so, you know, if you didn't inherit the mess, then I get it, but
No, we
It's-
inherited the
Yeah, I
mess.
think they did.
it's difficult, the help desk is not helpful.
They're friendly.
Yeah.
I've had better luck with Valerie at the chamber. She's kind of the QuickBooks expert. So
Valerie with the chamber.
and she's happy to impart her advice. And they also have some subscription to their own help desk that is very helpful.
I think at OC, they used to have a class too.
The only classes they offer are online, cause that's the one we're going. We have.
So the prof is digital, I mean, is he from somewhere, or she, them, are they from somewhere else where they wouldn't even be able to possibly help?
The one I took, he was in Dallas.
Okay,
That's
so,
through the Nonprofit Management Center, but they haven't offered that again.
I haven't seen it through them. And the only one we could find was through OC, and I felt like she didn't need the beginner, but we went ahead and started at the beginner level for her, just in case she didn't, I felt like she needed an
Basics.
intermediate. And, I think she's correct, if we ask her, she feels like the intermediate is more where her level is now. So, like I said, we're slowly going through that, but that might be an option for us to ask questions about that.
anybody who can help.
I also have a QuickBooks lady
Do you?
that teaches the classes, that shows you, that helps you, that, all of that, so I can.
Okay, we're gonna be at
We
your
need that
office
name.
later, because
You can go to my office and she can do it.
we have other people at
I
the
just know how
municipal
it's gonna
plaza,
work with
that they
me
use
and-
QuickBooks,
Yeah.
the
You see what I'm saying?
other
Sure.
version. And they can't help us because they said that they don't use the online version and it's so
It's- yes.
so different than from the desktop one, so.
Does it make a difference that it has nothing to do with me, it's my wife and her that do it? I mean, so it's not a conflict of interest here?
No, I don't think so,
Be a
cause you're just helping them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay, we'll definitely reach out, and if not to Val at the chamber as well.
Anybody who could help.
Anybody that
Oh,
can
yeah.
help us
And
before it gets worse.
She also teaches the classes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
perfect, and that,
So,
probably what we need instead of the
And
online
you
one,
don't
but
have
it's the
to-
only one I found.
and it's here, I mean, so,
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay, we will definitely look into that, cause we don't mind doing that. Alrighty.
No. Okay, no more questions on financials, bank statement, what have you? Okay, moving on to new business. Fifth and grant.
Fifth and Grant, this is the one that we had opened it up to bid. We had been advised that it didn't quite meet the spectrums of the master plan that is in place or about to be renewed, so we went back in and we canceled. We retracted the bid, we on that completely. I know we will be reopening that bid again for that property as well. In the meantime, I can tell you that that property will be used during the winter time, for a casita village that we're gonna do like a market that we're working on right now. So,
So I guess I'm just curious, because I was part of the master plan, what didn't jive?
I'm still trying to work that with them, as in the development department for the city.
on the first part of it, or on the newest part of 7? Is that what you're talking about, on the 15 grand?
Fifth and Grant, it's just the front part, the one that's closer to Grant, but I think they wanna look at both properties, even the parking lot as well.
So you just didn't,
It was the wrong scope of work, like it's
like it wasn't the right
restaurant,
project?
retail.
It wasn't the right project, is what,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Welcome.
Sorry to disrupt.
No, you're good.
Fine. Any more comments on that fifth and grant project? Okay, we have the fall community cleanup, September 8th through November 18th.
I have 2 dates that we, for possibility of maybe we can all get together and do that cleanup because it is on Grant, but I wanted to put that out and see if anybody's available so that we can bring our employees, families. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
Can everybody look at their calendar, Tim, on those 2 dates?
No, I can't October.
I was gonna say, October 14th is
That's
this
this Saturday.
weekend. That's this weekend.
Yeah, this is from last month, so.
Okay, okay,
So I
that's
just
a little
sorta,
quick to
Yeah.
ask for help.
absolutely, and I understand that.
I can on the 11th.
11/11?
Oh, never mind, I can't do it at all of it.
That's Veterans Day weekend, so.
We have, it's Veterans Day, we have a
It is
parade.
Veterans Day.
We have a parade. Man, that was, I put that on the agenda before I knew we had a parade. I apologize.
That's okay.
Any other weekend that y'all can think of that would work for anybody else, and we'll see if we can make that work as well. I was sort of looking at the fall festival and things like that, so not to overlap those things as well, but man, that's the parade.
The further in advance it can be, the easier it's
Yeah.
to
Okay.
lock in.
So like November 18th? Is that a possibility?
Would it be early morning thing?
It could be an early morning thing, so we can come in and out, just so that we can meet our obligation with
Cause I've
the,
got an event that day, but I don't know what is gonna be required of my participation, so
what time is the event?
I don't know.
Oh,
Our
gotcha.
planning call is coming up, but I could do something from 9 to 10.
I don't know, how does everybody
much of
feel about that?
penalty? Like, whatever,
We just have to.
Or if
It's
not,
for blocks.
it's just it's 4 blocks on Grant.
Yeah.
oh, just
Oh, just
them-
storefront grant.
just storefront grant, that's it.
It shouldn't take more than an hour, I think, if a bunch of us show up and just, that way we can just keep it, cause if not, they'll try to give our space away.
It won't take that long.
It shouldn't take a lot.
Before, there was probably 8, maybe 10 of us, we were done in 20 minutes. I mean, you really,
Seriously?
you just
Yeah.
literally just walk straight down. As an incentive, I found $50 where.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
right there in the parking lot.
I want the area by the house then.
That was probably like, 4 or 5 years ago.
Now, does it have to be a weekend? I mean, if it's not gonna take that long.
It doesn't take that long, well, I mean.
No, it
there's
doesn't. I
two
just thought
things.
it would be easier on a
Because if you think
Saturday for
about the-
everybody, but
you think about
if y'all
the-
are
It'll
open
be
to,
easier to get help, I think, on a Saturday.
But
But if we're only doing that many blocks, split it up.
it should
Yeah,
change us.
It goes fast, I mean, you're literally walking.
I'm just in
changing
heels
trash.
every day, ladies and gentlemen. That means I have to have a complete change of wardrobe to go pick up trash and then go to work.
And if John
That's
Harrod
my
blows
thing.
everything out before we get there won't be anything on his
and he's up there early, so we may not be.
Oh,
I
You
would
have
say
to pick
to
up on
beat
the
John, we
cigarettes.
probably have to be there
Yeah.
like at 6 in the morning.
Oh my, it's still dark at that time of year.
I know, right?
6 a.m. Do you, but either way, do you guys want to move forward with this date, November 18th, or do you wanna do it during the week, that week prior?
I would rather do that Saturday.
I would as well, just, and really, I'm serious, just because I have to go and completely change clothes, I'm serious.
Now, is it more just a sweep or just blow it off the
No,
sidewalk?
I'm picking on John Harrod with this.
But no, I'm just saying.
No, you
pick
need
up
it.
trash.
You can't just sweep, you gotta pick that up.
Yeah, it's pick up trash, bags,
gloves?
cups.
A bag and.
We have to have evidence of trash in a bag.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is there not even that much trash? I mean,
Yeah,
shouldn't be.
cause if you look on
What
the,
time does the street
on the
sweeper go
east
by?
side of
Go.
Grand, the ICA properties, I mean, there's nothing that can collect there.
There's
Yeah.
not much trash.
It's a lot of the flower beds are the ones that collect the trash, and it's not gonna be
They get
that
stuck.
much. It gets stuck, the cups.
It's more of my flower pot in front of my office that they use.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's closer to the courthouse before you start really seeing.
So we could set something up like at 9 to 10.
Yeah, I could just do that myself one evening and be done.
We'll
All
take a
right, so we're
picture
gonna
in
give it
front
to
of the
Anthony.
sign and
Or,
then-
now that's an option, instead of doing it in the morning, we could do it during the week in a late afternoon, where we could change clothes first, do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's an option, that's.
And that's that's
I
fine.
must have- I either haven't participated or it's been a little while, because I remember the last time we did it, once it was complete, we met at what was it, Cafe?
Press.
Yeah, first press.
French
Yeah.
press.
Yeah, that was the last time. Well,
See,
last
an
time.
evening.
Oh, wow.
It was in.
Oh, that's why you in an evening, where are we gonna meet at the? That works too, that's fine, we can do something like that if y'all want, we can schedule it at
It'll go
5.
pretty quick, especially if
Yeah.
it's not windy and cold,
We get out there, pick it up at, well, but 5 is probably a lot of traffic. That's
I
not
would say 6 then.
At 6? Okay, what
Like,
day during the week?
Like the 13th, Monday the 13th?
Of November?
Tuesdays, there's so many board meetings, there's commitments a lot of times, Tuesdays and Thursdays I find.
So we're talking about November or October?
November, unless y'all want to do it sooner.
No, I'm
You,
okay.
you just, many of you said further out the better for you, so what do you wanna do?
So November 13th?
November 13th.
Does it have to be, yeah, does it have to?
So that makes it after the parade, so it's even better.
That's true.
Well, the parade's on, it's gonna be further down, it's not gonna be on that.
Oh,
What, does it have to be in October or November?
Yes, because the fall one has their campaign is from September the 8th through November 18th. And we missed the one for the summer, so would like to meet this one, if we can.
Okay.
I live in Walmart.
I'm sorry.
If she has questions, we have to wait till the end of the,
Well, no, if it pertains to this item.
So whenever I was going for the bachelor's program with Texas Tech, we paired with the city to do a cleanup that allowed us to get our community service hours and help cut down the time for that. Would
Mhm.
that be an option to look into for November?
It would give us more time to do so, I don't see why not.
And then it would benefit, I mean, both the nursing students or the med students there that are needing their hours plus
Who would Elizabeth need to communicate with?
Probably the president there. I can get a contact and reach out to you. Is that
Okay.
something you feel like?
that works.
It might be good for the future too, because when we get into summer and other
Yeah.
times when there's a lot more, it would be helpful to have more bodies.
And we have more than one, I mean, I'm just speaking of the nursing programs, cause that's what I'm going for, but, I mean, UTPB has one, Texas Tech has one, Odessa College, I mean, that's 3 large programs right there.
Yeah, no, CESA is growing because they have that new huge building they're putting up for nursing.
So just a thought for more hands and it to take less time.
Okay.
Okay. for now, we wanna go ahead and, are we still okay with November 13th at 6 p.m.?
Is there another suggestion, or is it the day you guys wanna go with?
I'll let you know if I just clean it up while I'm outside. I'll be done with it.
Well, if you do that, and you have all the trash collected, we take pictures, then.
That is fine.
Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I can bring a few guys from my office. It won't take.
It won't take us very long. Okay, alright, then we'll go ahead and set that up, and if anything else, we can,
November
since
the 13th at 6
13th.
p.m.
the
right?
13th,
November what?
13th at 6 p.m. All right, state of downtown.
This one was something that, we had put on there for last month, cause it was prior to.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, we had a good turnout to the, I had a couple people that would love to get that big award at the end of the evening, so, people are talking about it, so we're gonna just have to make sure that we research it a little bit better and see what businesses were started sooner, and just sort of head those up a little bit better than what we had last year. Any suggestions on that? Cause I know I've heard her comment from like the hamburger company, that they were here longer than Casa Ortiz, and so.
But I thought it was new.
Mm-hmm, this
There's
is
a
what I thought as
legacy.
well.
No, that was a
There's
legacy.
legacy one?
business.
Yeah. That was.
So is legacy all about the length of time, or is it just recognizing businesses that have been here a long time?
That,
I think it's all the above.
I think it's
So
all
it's
the
just
And I
above.
have to give mine back. I mean, I did grow up next to Lamar Elementary, 4 blocks away, but,
You don't wanna give it back?
I think I first joined the board in 2013, and then I moved the main office to downtown in 16.
Yeah, cause I can see like the one that did win one of the awards was Sunflowers, RX.
Or new?
And they're fairly new, however, they came in and they set up shop, they saw the benefit of staying downtown, that they invested in a private property. So I think that's where that award came for them. It wasn't that they've been here the longest, it was that they could have moved anywhere. They could have seen
And
a
they
different
changed
part
it.
of town to grow in, and they didn't, because they were renting at the beginning. When they
Yeah.
got their clientele, they were renting, but they saw the benefits of the downtown and they wanted to stay, and so they invested in a property and they grew here. So I think
Yeah,
that's,
they deserved it.
absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, but we did the same thing. We could have stayed. We were in a way nicer building. I mean, we were better off, I mean.
Yeah.
But the legacy award is more about just recognizing businesses that have been in downtown a long while then, is that correct?
Yeah, cause if you choose the longest, they're gonna win it every year.
That's what I
Well,
was about to
business.
say,
Yeah.
it's just a repeat and repeat
Yeah,
like the
and
year
then-
prior.
I've
And
been
then-
downtown since '05.
Yeah, easy.
well, could we create a new
It's
category,
just
like
been
a lifetime
that
achievement?
You know, I think that is something that I think that it would be beneficial for us, is to revamp the awards that we have a little bit clearer, and
agree.
not necessarily take them away, but make it a little bit clear so that people know why they're getting nominated. And we also ran into this at the very end, the people that were nominated
Twice.
some of them were twice, so their votes got split. They just had no chance of winning, cause they worked for the organization, it was the person, and the vote split. They had a lot of votes, but it wasn't under one line. So it's sort of, they didn't end up getting the votes, you know?
Oh, same entity to both categories.
It was one entity with the person that worked at the entity.
Oh, okay, yes.
And so most people would look at it as the entity and would vote for the entity, and some people would vote for, and
The entity.
really the one and the same. But because the way that it was created, it really did split the vote. And so, I think we need to be a little bit more careful on things like that. Unfortunately, it was not me that created that list, nor did I have any input. It was something that we turned off when I started, and we postponed the downtown address completely, and it was something we just reopened. We didn't adjust anything, we couldn't, anything.
Yeah.
I think
I
it
think
would
that would
be
be
a wise
helpful.
decision to completely look at every category.
And as we get closer to that, I think that is something that we'll come up with different categories, and we'll make sure that everybody is on the same board as, before we put that out to the public.
I think that's
Cause
wise.
once it goes public, we can't really take it back. We just have to keep moving forward. But yes, it was little stuff like that it turned into big stuff, and it makes a difference. It does. Any questions about that?
Okay, we have the 2023 event update discussion.
So we've had our first Friday. Last Friday was the second one of the since we started this.
The third one.
The third one, absolutely, yes. We, I think we were even fearful that we weren't going to have a crowd because there was the OHS Permian game. And you know what? We had crowds. We had people downtown walking. I think it's catching on. People are starting to understand the process that you don't have to go to everyone on the list. You just pick the list, the one you like, and you go for it. The businesses, other businesses in town are watching, and they are starting to contact us and say, hey, why am I not a part of this? It's like, well,
That's what we want.
and that's what we want. So they're reaching out to us now.
Yeah.
Whereas before we were going to them saying, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? They're calling us saying, hey, why am I not part of this? It's like, hey, we put you on the list right now.
Yeah, reverse psychology.
It's almost there. And so I think as the months go, we'll see it more and more. I think the tavern can testify to, they have done tattoos the last 2 months, and the lines go out the door.
I've seen a lot of check-ins at the,
Yeah.
at the tavern.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's been nice, really nice.
Yeah. Matt Jacks did free tattoos for the kids. They did face painting because we had so many kids wanting tattoos. They wanted tattoos, and we're like, you're not old enough for one, but how about we go get you a face painting? So it's good. It brings people downtown as a family, and that's really what we're looking for. You know, they can have a meal at one of the shops, and then they can go shopping, and they can watch music at OC Grounds. It's working, and I think as we get further into it, it's going to grow even more.
Yeah, if it worked during the Permian OHS game,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge draw.
I
know
think
that's a huge
it was,
draw.
yeah, we just sort of held our breath thinking we might be out here by ourselves, other than the tattoos.
Interesting. Alright, what about the farmer's market?
Farmers market went well. That was the first one we had, was on September the 23rd. It was, I think the footprint was a little bit larger than we anticipated we needed, but moving forward, we had a meeting between all the groups the other day, and we've decided that we're going to try to condense them a little bit smaller. But it was a good turnout for the very first one, especially since we didn't get started in the summer like we had wanted to, for different reasons. However, we're getting ready for the one on October, and it's not the 21st, it's gonna be the 28th. I see a typo on that, I apologize. It is, we already have people registered for that one, and then we're of course going to have the one on December 2nd. The one in December is not gonna be in the morning, it'll be from 1 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon.
And that's the medical center one?
It's Medical Center, Homemade Wines, Marriott in downtown.
But they moved over to.
They pretty much moved over to
Jackson.
downtown and they gave the list to vendors. They
Right,
just shared
where-
it.
What was the footprint?
The footprint was on Jackson.
Okay.
What's it going to be?
It's going to be the same footprint, but the layout inside, the
Okay.
vendors were spread out too far. I think it would benefit to move the vendors a little bit closer. The one in October will have a pumpkin patch, and they're hoping to stage that one in the Torchy's parking lot so that a lot of the pumpkins are in the parking lot, and it still leaves Grant open for the smaller vendors, and people can still walk. And then OC has also agreed that they're gonna bring in programming every hour, something different during that time frame.
Very cool.
So that one too, it's growing every time.
Wonderful. Okay, state of downtown, September 14th.
We sort of went over that same thing.
Yep. So move on to tacos and tequila.
Tacos and tequila went really well for us. The only drawback we had was the pricing, and it was a pricing that we did not set ourselves. It was the West Texas Radio Group. They set the pricing at $50, and that was just too high. We were getting hammered on Facebook on the city side for that because they thought we were taking in that money, and it wasn't us. When we partner with these other programs like this, we just sort of help with the logistics, we help with the permits and things like that. We never take on the money part. We've met with them again, and they said they will never do that again because they got hit pretty hard as well on
Were
their
they
side.
Were they raising money for someone, or just they thought $50 was a good?
I don't know where their pricing came from.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
If it wasn't a fundraiser, then.
Yeah.
So my question is,
Not to my
how did
knowledge.
Hispanic Heritage get involved into this when it has nothing to do with them?
Hispanic Heritage had an event that was at Floyd Gwynn at the same time frame as the Tacos and Tequila, and both organizations were having trouble getting food trucks and vendors. Neither party had enough food trucks for the event, and so West Texas Radio Group reached out to Hispanic Heritage and said, hey, can we combine it together? Because neither one had enough for either. So West Texas Radio Group wasn't gonna have enough taco trucks for tacos and tequila because the other half were already signed up at Floyd Gwynn and vice versa for the vendors as well. That's something that they talked about. They reached out, I believe it was Anna from West Texas Radio Group reached out to somebody from them. And once they had already talked about it and pretty much agreed to combine everything is when I was brought in at that. So I learned this at the very end.
And I was gonna say, isn't that something that needs to go through you first before, cause your whole deal is you're doing tacos and tequila, has nothing to do with this. They combine, and I mean, the way I look at it is my point of view is the way I see it is they combined, now the prices went up to $90 a couple or $100. Is it because they combined and they were trying to?
No, the
That's what I'm
$50
saying.
was set before they combined.
Yeah, but see, everybody's gonna see that different.
And that's true.
Everybody's gonna see, okay, now you come in, now all of a sudden it's $100, when it never was $100.
Yeah.
So,
What was it prior?
I don't even
Do y'all
recall what
remember?
that last one was, but it
I don't know,
wasn't
but they said
$100.
next year they're going down to 20.
You see what I'm saying? So now you're going from 50 to 20 all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and it's like, so the first thing I say, okay, when they got together, they said, how are we gonna both make money, so now it went up to $100. And all that does is make downtown look,
Yeah, no, I got you. And this is hindsight. This was done maybe 2 weeks prior to the event because they had already reached out to me saying they couldn't find vendors. So we went to our vendor list that we had and we tried to help them get vendors for the tacos and tequila side. And even that, they were too split.
and I think it should be one of the things is the phone call to you to say, here's what we're thinking, what is your thoughts?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, here's what we thought of, just go with it.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that hindsight because now it was the first time that had ever happened and I'm fairly still new to something like that. The only other partnered event that I had worked was the month prior was with the lowriders, and we didn't run into any issues like that. So this one was a completely new ballgame, so lesson learned on all ends.
Any kind of community calendar that you could go look at and say, oh, wait, Hispanic Heritage is having an event the same day that you're having an event that,
Yeah, that is something that internally the city we're working very hard to do that, so that even internally we do not overlap our
Yeah.
events because we were doing that as well. I think every entity sort of posts their own calendar. There's not one
well, we
specific
face
one.
the same thing, so,
Yeah,
you know,
the
there
only
used to
one
be
that I
a-
can think of is maybe Discover Odessa might have a good one.
The chamber keeps a community calendar.
Yeah, the chamber and
So-
SRs cover a lot.
Cover a lot, so you'd have to make sure but still, you're still checking a couple of different calendars at that point too, as well. So, I think it's a good thing, cause that means that our community's growing, but I think these are the growing pains that we're facing as well. And they're hard growing pains to go through.
Yeah, cause downtown goes through the backlash, not, you know what I'm saying, it's like.
I did, yeah.
You know, you had an event downtown, you're charging $100, now, you know, that makes this look
Everyone
like,
look bad.
yeah, it makes
Yeah.
us look bad.
Absolutely, and I understand that.
Well, what kind of agreement did West Texas Radio have to use downtown as a venue? Can we put language in there that sets prices?
That is something that I can go back, we do have a contract that shows about, but that they have to post it. There is language in there, so, is there something that we would wanna do, like a max?
I would think it would just need to go through you with a discussion, so I think, in my opinion, because I think every event's gonna be different depending upon the time of year as well.
Mm-hmm.
That price needs to be okayed by you,
Yeah.
period,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my opinion.
I think like the welcome packet can offer suggestions, like, hey, if you're having this kind of event to this kind of event,
$10.
you know, here's what the
We
market has
suggest-
supported in the past.
Yeah, I understand.
Don't come in thinking $50 a ticket and
Well, and you're still
Yeah.
buying your food,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that's
wait.
not.
They didn't
What?
get free food, oh yeah.
No, you're
they
paying
still had to
$50
pay
to
for
get
food.
in to
and then the
purchase.
vendors to buy
Yeah,
stuff from the
see.
vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
came with
what
two
would-
drink
what did the
tickets.
$50 get you?
It's
Two
Just
drink tickets.
two drink
tickets.
tickets and
Well, that-
There was
That's the
food
kind of stuff
tasting.
you can't let happen.
Yes,
I
and
mean-
that's that's what I'm saying, the first thing that came to my mind was like, well, yeah, they combined, they gotta find a way to make money. You know, so it's
and I
like,
don't believe the other one was charging, so this was something that was set
just
on.
one,
One.
yeah, but.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would put some sort of ticket approval consideration, yeah.
We
And-
do
and
have
if-
language in there, but it's not on the dollar amount for the ticket, it's on where they
It's
can
gonna be
post
hard
it.
to set a
I think
dollar
that-
amount.
What?
mean,
I agree, that's why I think it just needs to go through her main
Yeah.
discussion.
Right, right.
Because things go up, things go
They
down,
do.
they fluctuate, I mean, they may have paid a certain amount for one thing last year and this year it went up on them. You know, so they gotta make money to pay for some of the things, but $100, I mean, $50, it's like.
Was there a band? I mean, was there any?
It was the Selena impersonator.
Hey, that'll draw a crowd. Get her for 4th of July. That's-
But it would be free.
Yeah.
I read
That
that
was part of
post.
the comment.
How is MB Riders gonna be free and you're charging? It's like, oh yeah.
Oh, wow, so you got quite a bit.
Oh yeah, we got hit
Yes.
hard. Yeah,
They got hammered.
yeah, we got hammered, and it was one of those just grin and nod and keep going because
Yeah.
What can you do?
you
Yeah,
can't do
what can you-
anything at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I said, oh no, there's growing pains. I'm feeling them.
Live and learn.
Absolutely. The next event we have is coming up right in a few weeks. It is Treats on the Streets. We have 24 vendors already signed up. We've also have the Ector County Health Department reached out to me. They do a haunted house. So it's on their own. They're doing it themselves. However, it's the same. They're going to open up their building at the same time as the Treats in the Streets so that people can just sort of do the
That's
treats
perfect.
and then go into the health
Yeah.
department, and
Yeah.
it's a good partnership with them. Not really, but at the same time, I put it on an ad, and we're just gonna get people down here.
Well, if it puts them, if it gets them down this way.
Yeah, absolutely. The 24 vendors, that was as of this morning, and we also have one of the, I believe it's Pathway Church, they're gonna give out hot dogs.
Cool.
So we're getting a lot of people involved, not just the candy, but I said, are you sure you know how many people we have out there? He said, yeah, that they're ready to go. They've already pulled their permits, so we're moving forward on that one. I'm
And the-
excited.
The
Excellent.
Treats on the Streets is for the business to go online to set up for them to do that? Is that
If
how-
you wanna set up a table at your business, then you just register with us, and then we'll put you on a map.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we have a postcard that's gonna have 10 different spots, and if they go to 10 different vendors, like let's say each one of y'all stamp it, they turn it back into us, we've bought, some grand prizes, and people just sort of put their name in there, and we raffle off these prizes. That's just so that we can get people to go into these local downtown businesses.
So is it just a drawing random at that point?
Yeah, we'll take it and we'll just do a drawing. We have about 10 gifts, the prizes that we have, just almost like the Easter one.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so, no, you do not have to, because that means.
She doesn't want them hanging around.
I'm like, no, we'll call you.
Yeah.
Like, we'll call you. And then
Great.
Parade of Lights is going to be December the 2nd. We're still gonna launch from the OC parking lot. The only thing this time is between a meeting between the city and OC is that they do have quite a bit of construction going on at OC. So we are going to limit the number of vehicles that we're going to line up on the property down to about 200. As opposed to,
What was last year?
I think it was 700.
800.
Yeah, and that 200, it's not necessarily only 200 cars because they each can have additional cars, but 700 will not fit on that parking lot right now. So we have a strict deadline of the 15th. Anything after the 8th, there's a late fee. But I can tell you, I emailed that out yesterday, and I have 10 people already signed up in less than 24 hours. So these are going to be very popular,
So,
and
we need to raise the price again.
Well, how much is it right now?
It's like 150.
it depends. If
For
you're a
business?
school, it's 0, but if you're a commercial, I think it's 100, and if it's nonprofit, it's 75.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of categories, but they're calling, and
Now, are you breaking up those 200 into like floats, pedestrians, all of that, or is it just participants?
It's just participants. Now, this can be a semi, you know what I mean? It can-
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Big or
So, I
small.
mean, you can't limit it down to that small of an event, but we just have to make sure that we have enough place for it, for them. Because half of the parking lot in front of the OC, Sports Center is completely not usable. So we had to make sure, and then once we have a meeting with everybody that does register, we will make sure that they know that they have to be at least 80 to 90% complete, and not anybody's trying to finish putting the float together on the property, because they say that happens every single year. They come with the flatbed and then they want to decorate on site, and that's something that we're going to have to stress, that we just don't have that extra space this year.
And it's the fact of driving over, everything comes off. So
And I get that, and I understand that, but with the limited space, that was something that we don't wanna cancel just because of that, and we also don't wanna have it too small, so between all the parties, the 200 number just sorta seems like a good number.
And there's no other there's no other areas.
To
There
stage,
was a lot of room, if you went
the
all the way down, I don't think it's Shakespeare, but 23rd to,
that one is,
Sherman Highway.
that one's blocked already, and that's where they sign up, that's where they line up the semis, I understand.
By the
23rd Street
yeah.
by Shakespeare,
I thought,
We did that last year, it was for the city council
I
and.
was gonna say the dignitary, cause the judging table was there.
Yeah,
the
there- yeah, there-
dignitaries-
Shakespeare?
yeah, that's
Right
one
next
of the
to the
parking
Pizza
lots for
Hut.
that.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
that whole strip, I understand that's where they put all the semis, or I may have it wrong.
I don't remember it being, I remember all the semis being
They were-
on OC property
Yep.
by the dorms all the way back to the Globe.
That's right.
And then
Okay.
using those two parking lots, and then it snaked back around to the sports complex. So, I mean, you can carve out a couple of little areas back there, cause all those streets are blocked.
I think that whole section where we set up at, that whole thing right behind us was wide open.
That's what I thought I remembered,
So if
because,
they wanna fix their trucks and stuff, that whole street is wide open.
And
You
it's
could go in-
behind the Globe Theater?
Are you talking
It's
about
right where the
Shakespeare?
Pizza Hut's at, right there off of.
Shakespeare.
well, it's 23rd, but then Shakespeare
If it's
breaks
not a,
off and
but
there's.
if it's not a city lot or an OC lot, they might be a private lot, we may not be
No,
able
no,
to.
no, no,
Road
it's a
off.
street,
It's a
it's
street.
city
It's a street.
Yeah, they blocked the whole road.
Yeah, because it's blocked complete, and there's several,
I don't have a map.
Trophy
run
shop is right
back.
there on the-
I thought I had a map for OC and I don't have
This
it.
is
Only
only
for
sheet
sure
of
Yeah.
patience is on
I
it.
saw.
but that could be a little overflow, that street, 23rd, but then Shakespeare
Yes.
goes off this way, and then there's a couple of other streets, back directly behind that Pizza Hut, that you could use to kind of stage, I mean, it's not gonna.
And OC owns probably 3/4 of all of that along 23rd, where all the warehouses are and all of that.
Yeah.
And they own, there's empty lots there that they own.
I think a lot of the people we met with at OC were not there last year, so they might be fairly new as well. So it might just be us having another meeting with them again.
That contact would be Ken Zardner,
Mhm.
VP of Business. Ken Zardner, he's the person you talk to before you get to Dr. Williams, so you can get that high.
You can get that, okay. Yeah, and when we met the other day, we had the chief of police on the campus, we had, her last name was Chapa, I think Roxanne Chapa, she does all the rentals, and we had different, and then we also had people from the dorms, because there was an issue last year where we had people, the kids, they were still parked there, and we couldn't line up the cars, so they're helping us to make sure that, they said the cars that were left over last year were out of town, they were traveling.
Well, if they're for sports or whatever, they can, you know, they may be gone.
Yeah, and so they're gonna try really hard this year to make sure that they move them off the parking lot prior to them leaving town for the sports, so a lot of the little stuff came up in that meeting.
Was there any other issues that came up time-wise, or anything different by having that many? That it's something that we should make it a point that there's not that many, or did it not make any different impression?
I think,
It was more the staging
The staging only?
and having enough parking lots for there to be drop-offs for the students and then
The
also,
room, basically, just
yes,
having
the
it.
room for that,
I think every year in play committee, we've discussed, how do we cut this down? Because it's a 3.5 hour parade.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Should it be limited to 500?
you see, what I've seen is you have a couple of different crowds that attend. You've got the parents watching all the kids
Always.
march in the bands. You've got the littles who are waiting for Santa. Well, that's 3.5 hours in. They leave. The parents
Yeah.
leave after the band goes by. I don't know if there's a better way to reorganize the floats. I mean, I think you do a good job getting, OHS leads off and Permian finishes, and then next year you trade. And
Cause
then,
there was a big
That's
gap
fair.
in the
You-
parade last year.
yeah, there's
Like,
always
everybody started leaving cause they thought it was over.
Yeah.
And then when it started again, everybody came back.
Yeah,
And
I
I
wasn't
don't know
part
if
of that.
just-
Yeah,
amount
the
of-
timing is
Yeah.
always an issue. Trying to get everybody
Yeah.
out at the right time and to keep the pace
Yeah,
at the
people
right
were
time.
loading
It's
chairs, getting ready to
always,
go, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden-
Well, since we've already put that limit of 2, I guess this will be a really good run for us. And if it's too short, then maybe we know that we need to go up a little bit more next year. And maybe not hit exactly that 5, maybe we need to do the 300 or something.
Just keep going as
And just trying it, and like I've explained it, I don't think we're gonna be able to keep it straight at 200, cause some people registered 2 extra
Yeah.
cars and stuff. But we're still looking at about 2 to 300 by the
I was
time.
gonna say, if you say 2, you'll end up at 3.
Yeah, absolutely, but
So
if we
we-
leave it open like we did last year, we're gonna end up at 7 again.
So if we keep a good count on this year, we'll know it was
Yes.
actually 3, so
Exactly.
We're
Was
good,
that
or we-
positive? We need a
Yeah.
little more.
Yeah, and I think this will be a good run for us, so that we know if this limit, and I know we're doing that because of the spacing, but everything should be completed by that at OC next year.
Yeah.
Unless they have another big project come up, but that way we'll know if our limits need to go up a little bit and how far.
and the parade came down to Second Street, right?
I love
And
It
then
goes to
To
third.
Third,
to Third.
It turns back.
and it turns back to the hospital, and they just start dropping off the students in the
At that
hospital and at the library. I figured that, I learned that.
And I was gonna say, is there a reason it has to go south? I mean, can it start somewhere and go north? I mean, is there
Because the goal is to get everybody to downtown.
to get them
after.
to the after party or the after stuff?
Well, it just always ended.
Yeah,
The
just
sports center parking lot will not be an issue.
Moving forward, correct?
In 24.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, so. But I think it'll be a good idea if we know to put limits on them or not. Because you're right, I'm absolutely, I came to the parade last year and man, Santa just never showed up, cause that was a long parade.
I was a judge and I think we left before Santa got there, like, man.
it was.
That's hard on littles.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
it's very hard.
That road beside there would be a great place to stage all your vehicles, cause you could stack trucks all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'll
Almost
mention
Kermit
that,
Highway, almost.
yeah.
Well, in
Yeah.
the highway, you can stack trucks.
Well, and it's blocked at Kermit Highway, so you
Well-
could use it completely.
And so you getting those trucks out before the rest of the people are coming in behind it, it would make this
Flow.
flow.
Yeah,
Because the
it's
trucks
meant to
are,
be
the trucks
Okay.
are the ones that slow everything, cause they can't go but so fast.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to make a note of that and we'll talk about that the next meeting that we have with them. Alright, the next one on here is the lowriders against bullying. They've already want to set the date for next year. They're ready to go. So that's why I have them back on the list. Honestly, tacos and tequila is the same way. They're ready to go again next year with modifications.
Yeah, the Lowriders Against Bully this year was good.
Yeah, it was good. Let's see, old business, well, that's the one from, and then the grants. These are the 3 that we still have out now. Will be at ODC meeting on Thursday?
Thursday.
On Thursday at 2:00, and we have 4 grants that we are going to discuss and see if we can get those approved. We have, a Scooter's Coffee coming in there. We have the Jim's Big and Tall, and then we have a facade on Texas, which is the Old Clover House.
The old Clover House.
And then I just received one on 8th Street that I have not even started the process of getting them to look at anything yet, so, we're starting to get going on those again, thank goodness.
What, and I think I've asked this before, why do I think Paradigm got a facade grant? The fitness center right across from Bank of America?
I've never seen that in any of the files, but if it's,
I've never seen anything either, but
Cause what I remember was that it was his building and the rental car place next door, cause I think he owns that. So what I remember, I could be completely wrong, but I thought there had been a grant that would have touched both of those things, and then I just, maybe COVID, I don't know what happened, but.
I haven't seen anything on that, but that doesn't mean I haven't gone far enough back either on records that I have. So we're still waiting, right now on part 2 to finish and submit. Pediocardio, that one, we've extended it twice, their deadline's at the end of December, so I haven't seen work out there lately. I need to make a call to him and see where we're at on that. I don't know with the firewalls and what he's sort of up in the air what to do on the first floor. I don't know if he'll meet that day. And I don't know if we can go for a third extension at this point if there's no movement as well. So that's something that I keep watching. I look over there all the time and I just don't, at first I saw them moving and you just saw them always working on it. In the last week or so, I haven't seen anything.
Unless construction's moved inside.
But there's no cars even in the parking lot too, so I need to reach out to him and make sure. And then Jim's Big and Tall, they're the ones that they're going to go on Thursday for an infrastructure and a facade. So y'all, anything else that y'all we need to discuss that I missed?
What's Jim's Big and Tall gonna become?
A restaurant nightlife.
Is it still the Mexican food?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is gonna be the new name?
I don't know the name of it.
No, that's the name of the building now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what.
Any chances we could get a Chick-fil-A to come downtown?
There's
I'm so
one.
tired of riding all over the place.
Second that one.
Is that for grandkids? That's funny.
They spent the night last night, and so first thing I done, Chick-fil-A, and I wanna go to Chick-fil-A. I don't.
The one on University is pretty close to me, so I'm lucky.
Well, that's the one I went to, cause that's the closest one, but I'm just saying, what's the chances of the owners of Chick-fil-A coming downtown?
I think they need a pretty hefty property.
There is
Yeah.
no room
I
downtown
was
for a
like,
Chick-fil-A.
yeah.
Can you imagine the drive-through, what that would entail?
Yeah, I went through it yesterday and there was no school, it was bad.
Everybody think there's a parade every day.
Yeah, they would. That's what it looks like.
Right?
I think their portions are getting too small.
Yeah. That's everywhere.
Before we end it, one last question. We have a table for the recycle, runway that they have on Friday the 20th. Is anybody interested in going?
October the 20th, I'll be in town.
We have
You have your own table?
our table.
You don't wanna go to the fashion show. I see how you are,
Has
brother.
anybody ever been?
It's fun, it's a good,
There's been 2 or 3 that are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow.
And where's this at?
My town
It's gonna be
is
at the Marriott.
minimal compared to some of these people.
They just need names of who's going to attend, and if nobody's game, I'm going.
Go.
Yeah, you should go.
Well, yeah, but we
if
have.
I were in town, I'd go,
What is the
Yeah.
date of our next meeting?
And it's a fashion show?
but let's recycle so that
October the
we can
10th.
make stuff
Thank
out of
you.
it.
We took our girls and stood there with our
No,
nieces and
October 10th is
we
now.
filled our table, you know, and
November
they
meeting.
loved it. It was.
So the kids do.
Cause it says October 10th.
So there's a
That's
kids
the day.
category and an adult category.
Do we need the next week?
You know, when we didn't meet last, it threw us off so
No, I
bad.
get it, that's fine. I'm just,
I-
it
I-
helps if we put it now.
To be good at for the kids.
It'll be November 14th,
Thank you.
so sorry.
Yep.
No, you're good.
That before.
November the 14th.
Yeah, did y'all hear them?
Downtown meeting,
November
so you wanna
14th.
get that.
At 11,
Yes.
y'all threw me, I thought you met at 1. It's still taking me.
No.
All right. Nothing else?
Perfect. Any questions, comments?
Good luck
Thank you,
with
ma'am.
QuickBooks.
Well, and hopefully you're gonna get some help now, that'll be,
I'll get her in touch with
Yes, please. We will take all the help we can
I
get.
sent you Ken Zartner's number.
Yes, I saw that just now.
He manages all of the properties and he's the number 2 guy.
Okay, that works for me. I will add him.
What was his name, what'd you say?
Ken Zartner.
I got it.
Tammy's nice, so that helps.
Yes, that always helps. Especially when you go in there going, I need a favor. All right, anything else?
it's 11:55, do I have a motion to adjourn?